Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 4th of April 2018 and we're going to reflect on Luke 24:13 to 35. Now on that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it is now the 3rd day since these things took place. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see him." Then he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening, and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road, and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. The Gospel of the Lord. Have you ever seen a horse with blinkers? Blinkers or blinders are a pair of small screens attached to a horse's head to prevent it from seeing sideways and behind. We may not have blinkers attached to our heads, but that does not keep our vision from being impaired. Very often we cannot see things even though they are clear signs. In today's passage, which I found very amusing, we see two disciples walking on the road to Emmaus, discussing recent events, notably Jesus' death and angels appearing and all kinds of things. Jesus appears to them and they don't recognize him. Well, one reason is because he probably looked different, but the other is that they weren't expecting to see him. After all, he was dead. Jesus asked them what they were talking about, and with unconscious irony they said, "You must be the only person in Jerusalem who doesn't know what has happened." So Jesus says, "So what happened?" And they say, 1, there was a great prophet in their midst named Jesus. 2, he was handed over to be crucified by the priests. 3, it was the 3rd day since he had died. 4, the tomb was empty. 5, angels that appeared telling them that he had risen. Now, I know that things are always clear in retrospect. We are looking at this event knowing everything that transpired. But these were guys who were with Jesus. He had told them what was going to happen, that he was going to be put to death, but that he would rise on the 3rd day. It is now the 3rd day since he died. The tomb was empty. So 2 plus 2 equals to 4. But they didn't get it. Why? because they were trapped intellectually and emotionally, and they couldn't see the truth. Sometimes the same thing happens to us. We can't see the truth either. Wouldn't it be nice if Jesus could break open the scriptures for us and break bread with us too? Well, you know what? He does. Every time we go to Mass, through the liturgy of the Word, he breaks open scripture, and through the liturgy of the Eucharist, he breaks bread. And we don't need to journey alone. We can journey with Christ every day and with all his people. And how about we do that this year? God bless you.